We are diving deep today into one of the most unsettling paradoxes of our modern media landscape. The case of Wade Steven Wilson. Here we have a man convicted of 2 utterly brutal capital murders, yet who somehow achieved this massive viral fame, becoming known to thousands as the Deadpool Killer.
And this fame, it wasn't in spite of the violence. It almost seems like it was because of its shock value.
Exactly. For you, the listener, who really wants to get a handle on this bizarre cultural moment, this deep dive is essential. Our analysis is largely built around the new 3-part docuseries, Handsome Devil, The Charming Killer. It's premiering on Paramount Plus on January 20, 2026, and it doesn't just, list the facts. It focuses sharply on this weird intersection of brutality and self-generated celebrity.
Right, and what's so fascinating is that our mission today isn't just to summarize court documents. We have to really confront that central paradox. How does an individual the prosecution called heinous, atrocious, and cruel manage to become an internet anti-hero? I mean, complete with thousands of fans, many of whom are, well, highly sexualized in their admiration.
Yeah. And to really measure the dysfunction of that fame, we first have to establish the full, brutal reality of his actions.
Let's start right there, because the reality is profoundly disturbing. And the timeline, it's just terrifyingly compressed. This all unfolded in a single night.
One night in Cape Coral, Florida, October 7, 2019. He murdered 2 women that night, Christine Melton, who was 35, and Diane Ruiz, 43, just back to back.
And if you look at Wilson's background, this wasn't totally out of the blue. It was a massive, violent escalation of an existing pattern. His criminal history went all the way back to 2012. I'm talking burglary, grand theft, firearm offenses. He was already a ticking time bomb.
So Christine Melton was the first victim. How did he encounter her?
He met her at a local bar, the Buddha, and then he accompanied her back to her home, and that's where he strangled her. Then immediately he took her car.
And he didn't stop?
No. Shortly after, she's driving her car, and he spots Diane Ruiz. She was just walking to work in the early hours of the morning. He lures her into the car, strangles her, and this detail really just underscores the depravity. He actually got out, checked on her, and realized she wasn't dead yet.
Oh, God.
So he got back in the car and ran over her body multiple times.
The calculated callousness of that is just, it's almost impossible to comprehend. And his reaction afterward wasn't fear or regret?
No, it was excitement. The source material is very clear that he immediately called his biological father, Stephen Testaseka, and confessed to every horrifying detail.
He was excited about it.
Exactly. That lack of affect speaks volumes. Wilson reportedly told his father that after he ran her over, Diane Ruiz looked like spaghetti.
Just horrific.
So the prosecution, they didn't have to strain to find some complex motive. Their position was simple. This was killing for the sake of the killing. Wilson even allegedly told authorities he would do it again. It was all about the sensation.
And it's also clear this wasn't his first time demonstrating this kind of controlling extreme violence.
Not at all. His ex-girlfriend, Kelly Matthews, she detailed this prior incident where he had tied her up, bound her, and gagged her in the back of her own car.
While she was tied up?
Yes. And while she was incapacitated, he drove recklessly, even went through a McDonald's drive-thru. She ended up breaking her foot during the ordeal.
It's just a clear escalating pattern.
For sure. And the forensic evidence in the murders was just insurmountable. The DNA analysis connected him directly to the knotted clothing used to restrain Christine Melton.
Can you break down what that evidence actually means for our listeners who might not deal with forensic science?
Of course. They use something called a likelihood ratio. In this case, the probability that the DNA came from him and one unrelated person was, get this, more than 700 billion times more likely than if it came from 2 random people.
700 billion. So what does that mean in practical terms for a jury?
It means certainty. A number that high just removes any reasonable doubt. It completely locks into the physical act of restraining her. There's no room for debate.
The case was ironclad.
Absolutely.
So, okay, we have the ironclad, horrifying reality of Wade Wilson, the killer. But here's the critical pivot for our deep dive. How was that reality so immediately overwritten and overshadowed by Wade Wilson, the viral phenomenon?
It happened instantly.
Right after his arrest, October 8, 2019, his mugshot just goes viral. It ignited this massive online frenzy across TikTok, Instagram, everywhere.
And when you analyze the specifics, you see his fame was purely manufactured and aesthetic.
What do you mean by that?
The first layer was just this accidental but really potent hook, nicknamed Deadpool Killer.
Just because he has the same name as the Marvel character.
That's it. Wade Wilson. It gave people a simple, clickable identity to latch onto. But the real fuel was his physical presentation. The docuseries really digs into how the obsession was all about his bad boy bravado, his surprising tattoos, and what his online fans kept calling his seductive smile.
So he was being aestheticized, turned into a character.
Exactly. Fictionalized. And he actively participated in that, even after he was locked up. He didn't just accept the attention, he amplified it.
By getting more tattoos.
Yes, more prominent, provocative tattoos after his arrest, deliberately marking himself for his new audience.
And these weren't just any tattoos.
No, not at all. These post-arrest tattoos included 2 swastikas and the white supremacist mantra, the 14 words, right there on his neck.
And for anyone listening who isn't familiar, the 14 words is one of the most foundational slogans in the modern white supremacist movement. It's a declaration of racial ideology.
A very clear one. And he made sure everyone saw them.
How so?
His legal team, they had the option of using makeup to cover those explicit symbols during the trial. But Wilson refused.
So it was a performance.
A conscious performance. It was designed to be antagonistic, defiant, to cement his image as this unapologetic antisocial figure.
And the public's response to that performance was, well, it was stunning.
Stunning is one word for it. He reportedly got more than 4,000 letters from admirers all over the world. The sources confirm a lot of these had explicit photos, romantic declarations.
It's just mind-boggling.
The obsession was completely fixated on his persona, the handsome devil, and totally detached from his crimes. You saw comments online from women calling him handsome, misunderstood.
Some were even saying he should be free.
I mean, that level of adulation just shows a profound societal disconnect.
And that deep, often sexualized attraction to a known violent offender that brings us squarely into the realm of psychology, specifically Hybristophilia.
Right. If we look at the psychological context, the clinical profile in the docuseries points very heavily toward antisocial personality disorder, ASPD, with clear psychopathic behaviors.
Right.
We're talking about a total lack of empathy, shallow emotions, and as you can see from his entire history, intense sensation-seeking.
His defense tried to push back on that, right? They argued about his history of substance use, traumatic brain injury.
They did. They pointed to 4 separate concussions and claims of psychotic spectrum illness.
But it didn't seem to hold much water.
Well, those factors are important for a full clinical picture, but they weren't enough to outweigh his core traits. His profound lack of remorse, his difficult antagonistic behavior with the psych evaluators, it all paints a very clear picture.
And his refusal to cover the tattoos.
That refusal was key. As one psychologist noted, it highlighted the antisocial part of, I'm going to do this my way, forget all of it, I don't care. That defiance is a cornerstone of the profile.
Let's dig a little deeper into that term you used, hybristophilia.
Sure. It was coined by John Money back in 1986. You might hear it called Bonnie and Clyde syndrome.
So what is it exactly?
It's clinically defined as a sexual interest in and attraction to people who commit serious crimes. We've seen it before with figures like Ted Bundy, who got mountains of fan mail.
But the digital age changes the whole ballgame. It doesn't just digitize the attraction, it kind of weaponizes it.
Precisely. Social media allows people to freely express themselves publicly and anonymously. It removes the social barrier, the fear of judgment. It fosters this weird collective fandom around infamous figures.
And incarceration itself plays a role in that.
A huge role. The physical distance and scarcity created by prison, where all you have are letters, maybe phone calls, these staged courtroom appearances, that creates what's called intermittent reinforcement. The ritual and the difficulty of maintaining contact actually intensify the attachment. It makes the criminal more alluring, like some fictional romantic challenge, and Wilson leveraged that masterfully.
And while he was cultivating that persona, the justice system was, of course, still moving forward.
It was. The legal process finally concluded in 2024.
Wilson was convicted on 2 counts of first-degree murder in June 2024, and then in August, Judge Nicholas Thompson sentenced him to 2 death sentences.
So the legal system delivered its ultimate consequence.
It did, but that's only one side of it. When we talk about this docuseries, it's so vital to give space to the victims' families. That's where the manufactured celebrity just melts away.
And you see the true human cost. Christine Melton's cousin spoke about 5 years of agony leading up to that verdict.
In Diane Ruiz's father's testimony, it was just heartbreaking.
It really was. He said he wanted to be at the execution because he said, I didn't get to say I love her.
You can't hear those words and still see Wilson as some kind of romantic anti-hero. It's impossible.
And that's the core tension. the docuseries Handsome Devil is trying to explore. Its whole purpose is to examine this dangerous obsession in the digital age. It promises to show both those who profess their love as well as those who fought for justice.
This case really is a perfect crystallization of the ethical dilemma facing the entire true crime genre today.
Absolutely. In today's content world, consumer attention is the most prized commodity. So when an image like Wilson's mugshot and his tattoos is sensational enough to drive clicks, the web structurally rewards turning criminals into celebrities.
And the victims get lost in the shuffle.
Inevitably. The real human existence of Christine Melton and Diane Ruiz, it gets reduced. They become footnotes, just case facts used to build up the celebrity of the killer. You just have to look at the volume of attention on his appearance versus the details of the family's agony. It's a very stark ethical balance sheet.
Okay, so let's try to unpack all of this. This deep dive into Wade Wilson shows a clear, harrowing line from profound documented violence to the manufactured spectacle of online celebrity. The cold horror of the murders of Christine Melton and Diane Ruiz is inseparable from the digital obsession that was fueled by his image.
Which really raises an important question for all of us, doesn't it? In a world where platforms and content creators are incentivized by the market itself to publish the most sensational material, are we, the consumers, the effective public, just being structurally encouraged to cross ethical boundaries, to assign social capital and fame to figures of pure outrage like the Deadpool Killer?
Thank you for joining us for this challenging and, I think, very essential deep dive into the costs of digital infamy.